Sheila Loren Monares, and I'm Mauricio Sanchez, and we're students from College English Module 5. So, have you ever wondered if something is unconsciously controlling what you think of a product? Or why are certain products used more than others, even though they do the same thing? Well, let me tell you. The answer to all these questions is branding. But what's branding? And how does it work? Well, by definition, branding is a process in which the companies create an image or name of the company in the person's mind. They do this by advertising campaigns, which have to have a consistent theme all through the campaign. Basically, branding is how they differentiate some companies from others.
How does it work? Well, basically its ultimate goal has to do a lot with consumerism, but directed only to a specific brand. You know, brand identity is working when a business has been years in the working. It also has a nice marketing campaign, and as well, it has business credibility, just like Coca-Cola throughout the years. Now, you know, branding is successfully working because some kind of pressure could form around having a certain kind of product or object, which is why people will buy things often expensive, which are related with wealth and power, just like iPhones or Macs or even Starbucks, which are really, really expensive.
Now that you know what branding is, we can differentiate it from marketing. Marketing basically, the core purpose is to sell or advertise a product for a company. It can also be a service or anything else. Also, marketing focuses on advertising this product on different platforms like internet or something like that. But the main difference here is time, because marketing can advertise a coffee or a new car for a specific time. But branding creates loyal customers that will buy your coffee because your favorite brand is selling.
Now, color psychology in branding is really important, and it basically has to do with the way companies use the color scheme of the chromatic circle using shades that can affect what people think about a product or service based on what they relate to color. Now, in the color wheel, there are three base colors, which are yellow, red, and blue, and the other ones are combinations. Now, according to psychologists and Stanford professor Jennifer Ackerman, there are 5 dimensions of branding personalities, which relate colors like blue, red, purple, green, red, with personality traits like sincerity or feelings like ruggedness and excitement.
Our brains prefer easily recognized logos or brands. That's why companies always look for shades or colors that aren't already used. But sometimes this is difficult to accomplish. Why? Because there's already a lot of companies that have a lot of colors in use. So how do they do this? How do they accomplish to get the colors they want for their brand so they can differentiate? They do this through 3 main ways. The first one is using colors that are totally opposite on the chromatic circle. Then there's something called triad. There's 3 colors that are separated equally in a chromatic circle, and the last one is using colors that are adjacent on the chromatic circle. These are all the same colors but in different shades.
It is important to remember though that color psychology is not really an exact science, because even if some group of people might see red, for example, as an expression of love and caringness, some others could see it as violence and blood. Which is why if you have a company, the first thing you have to do is establish your goals and also what you're trying to sell to people throughout the years. Another thing branding relies on is identity, because companies will try to sell you some things you might be if you get their products. Which is why you might see people at Starbucks buying a coffee not because of its delicious flavor, but because they want to appear to the world as someone who is interesting, introverted, intelligent.
Actually, researchers have found out that college students buy the things that they want from brands that represent what they think they are. For example, personality traits. I think I'm smart or I'm popular. I'm going to go to Starbucks because it says that I'm smart and popular. Basically, this is why we see some brands have this personality traits represented in them. That's why it's important for them to do a market study so they know who they're selling to, who they want, what they want them to feel like when buying their product. So this is really important aspect for them.
Okay, now social interactions are key for branding, because companies will want you to feel left out if you don't have a certain kind of product, so you don't fit in a social group or something. Right? For example, you can say branding is not only about getting loyal customers, but to get new ones at any cost. Yeah. which is a clear example of how branding affects people even if they don't really participate.
Emotion is really close to the deal here. It what makes a good branding strategy great. If you can find a way to enhance the relationship between the customer and the company, you can create loyal customers that will totally buy your product, any kind of product you sell. For instance, Apple is one of the companies that does this. In his branding purpose, he uses emotions in branding. Sorry. For example, they use clean images and really good design to integrate to communicate with a wide audience.
Okay, so in Apple commercials, for example, you can see people doing their daily chores but getting bored, and with their products, they seem to be really funny and entertaining. So Apple tries to sell the idea that if you have their products, you might as well get new friends or a new partner, or even get together with your family. Now, we've been talking about branding as if it were a malicious entity, but the truth is, it's not, because as long as you know exactly what you need, not what you want, you will be prevented from falling into the trap of branding. Now, we're going to give you some advices so you can avoid it and be sure you're buying the things you need.
The first one would be creating a list of the aspects you're looking in a product. For example, in looking for a new phone, you can look for a good image processor, a video camera that takes good video. So you go with this list and look for a product that actually accomplishes with all those requirements. Once you look for that phone, you have the product, you buy that one, even though it's not one of the brands you usually buy. Also, stop consuming tendencies. For example, excessive clothing shopping can be really money wasting. But if we realize that the clothes we actually have right now is actually good, even though the red is it's not the new black, we can save a lot of money and start getting better content.
Now, even though marketing strategies and branding is really entertaining sometimes, we sure need to know that no matter what kind of product we buy or their expenses, we're still going to be equally as valuable as someone who has more expensive stuff than us. And also, we can get new friends and get together with our families as long as getting a new partner. Also, saving money is one of the great advantages of branding. It seems kind of obvious when I say it, but the truth is the less you spend on something you don't really need and is often expensive, the more money you have for yourself and for getting things that really matter. For example, the new iPhone cost is $1,000. What would you do with all that money?
Also, another benefit would be that social pressure gets out of the way once you know that you don't need a certain product to be considered a certain type of people or be integrated into a certain group. This can be very, very beneficial for people that have anxiety or are not really good at social interaction because it's actually really liberating. Also, once you stop looking at all these big brands all around the world, you can start noticing all these small companies that are startups and actually help the economy of other companies. This mainly applies for organic goods, but if you're looking for electrical things, you can look at startups.
Okay, the important thing here is to realize that you don't really need to buy expensive stuff, and also to differentiate what you need versus what you want, and not getting into account things that are really popular. Also, you have to take into account, the image of the product, but if it has to do with the way it's going to work for you, it's going to be really delightful. Now, some tips here are, first of all, you need to make a list and differentiate and prioritize things that you need. The second of all, when you're paying something, you have to think to yourself, do I really need this? Is this going to be useful? And the third of all is going to be realizing the long-term use for a product. If am I going to use it 1 year, or is it going to be in the trash in 1 week?
Going through this world can be really hard and stressful without knowing all this information. But now that you do, you can go smartly through this world domain with all these brands without being tricked into thinking that you need a certain brand to be a certain kind of person or to belong to a group. To conclude, the most important part of interacting with branding is to always remember what you want to buy, and so that you don't end up buying something you will only use once, or maybe because it's what's in right now. And remember, always remember, the only thing that should be defining you is yourself and not the things that you buy or the brands you use. Thank you.